Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about the law of vibration, in which what you focus on is what you attract. So, getting into it, here are three categories: we have money, we have love, such as relationships, and then we have something simple, like a cat. A lot of people in their whole life or their upbringing have been shown that money is this negative thing or a very hard thing to get. And so, because of that, their relationship to it has a negative spiral effect, a negative feeling, negative thoughts, maybe frustration, maybe anger, and it's kept them there of having this negative relationship with it. Some people with relationships, they can have a similar thing where they feel like relationships are difficult, that relationships are hard to come by, that quality relationships or people that genuinely would love them are hard to get or hard to keep. And then, all of a sudden, they have their cat. And their cat is just wonderful. They just love their cat. Their cat is so comfortable to snuggle up to and play with, and so uplifting and relaxing, and it's so easy to just be with this cat. So why is that? So a lot of it comes down to the focus and the programming of the mind. So that when we have negative thoughts about, let's say, money or relationships, but we still want those very things, we come down here to seeing that we have this whole blockage going on in which God or Source, our inner being, is trying to give us these things. It so wants us to have these things, but we're blocking it off with these negative momentum thought patterns and focus patterns that don't allow those things in. So if someone wanted to change that, whether it be, again, for the examples of money or love, what you would do is, instead of trying to immediately change those thought patterns from something negative, of the money being negative, to start making it something positive and incorporating positive into it instead, where you could actually allow those things into your life. What you would focus on is letting go of the negative momentum, because right now that's such a big deal, that's such a fast moving train that you're not going to stop that so easily. But what you can do is you can come down and ground and meditate to quiet the mind. And what that'll bring you to is this eventual neutral stillness. And in that stillness, what you'll be is now in a receptive mode in order to receive at least one thing that your source, your inner being, your God, is trying to direct you towards, that will shift your momentum into a more receptive state. Because again, you cannot be in focusing on these negative things and be in a receptive state. That's what this is talking about. You are blocked off. You are on a different focal point, a different frequency. When you eventually obtain this neutral stillness and you start getting or allowing ideas or thoughts that start to uplift you, that start to change the momentum, just like the same good feeling momentum that you have with your cat, now you can eventually get into this place of full allowance, full alignment with God, with your inner being. And from there, you can then apply these new focal points, such as just focusing on your cat, for example, in your daily life. And what this will do, if you choose to just focus on the positive things or the things that feel good, is slowly over time, that means you'll be focusing less or not at all on these two things, for example, the money or the love, that for you seem very difficult or even impossible to come by. So you focus on the positive, and eventually over time the negative starts to get a little bit smaller here and a little bit smaller there, and because you're not focusing on it much, so you're not pouring into something that has so much negative momentum. And if you tried to, and if you did, maybe you focused on your cat for a whole day and you felt great, right? And then you got a reminder, like a bill came in about your money. All of a sudden that negative momentum is still there and overpowering, so it's going to build right up again. And that's okay, because this whole thing's a process. So again, you come back to the breath, the grounding, the meditation, which eventually will bring you to the stillness, which eventually will bring you into the receptive mode to receive what you are able to receive in that moment from God, from Source, which eventually will bring you back to alignment, which eventually will again keep you focused on these positive things, which in turn will slow down these momentums on these things, and eventually the outcome of that will be giving you enough neutral or neutrality, this neutral stillness within all of these subjects, whether it be love or money or anything else that you had once a negative momentum towards. And then you can just start adding a little bit more positivity to it, a little more shifting towards that negative momentum. And then eventually, over time, with more and more practice, that negative momentum will neutralize and become positive. And then that whole thing shifts, where now it's just maybe a little bit of negativity, but so much more positivity. And then those desires start flowing in and coming into fruition. I'll be continuing to explain these in more and more visuals as I can. But for now, this is good enough. Thank you for your time.